We'd like you to produce a film about an environmental issue you feel really strongly about, whether you live in a town or on a remote Scottish island, whether you're concerned about pollution from all this traffic, or you might be concerned about the declining number of butterflies in your garden. Great oaks from little acorns grow. Your environmental idea could become a working script with enormous film potential. Your ideas could create a movement for change. In the short clip you're about to see, we'll offer an insight into how to make your own film. So, good luck with the project.
In the first section of our programme about how to make a film, I tried to explain how to get the film's message across easier by exploiting the benefits of research, planning and organisation, long before the camera is even taken out of its box. Our film section 2 follows the trials and tribulations of that shoot, from day one right through to a wrap. Turning over? Yeah. Right, okay, so the day starts, the shoot starts, the camera's out of the box, we're just about to start the first interview. There's a right way and there's a wrong way. So what we're going to try and do is show you the right way, but also the wrong way.
A gamekeeper's year, if we start in January, the winter months is always vermin control, especially in a wild bird shoot, as we have out in the moorlands here in the grouse.
Okay, first thing, slight mistake. It's better, obviously, if the chap who's talking is actually talking to the presenter rather than looking at the camera. So that's just one little mistake that you probably should be aware of.
It must be difficult to count how many grouse you have out here in the moor. Can you tell us how you'd go around counting them?
Yeah, the system we use is there's setters.
You see, rather than the interviewee looking directly at the camera, it's far more pleasing for the viewer, for the two people talking, to have some sort of eye contact. It just looks more natural. But for now, we're going to leave this. Later on, when we come to do the editing sequence properly, I'll explain an even better possibility for this particular interview.
So we're on the hill, we're pretty far from anything, we're far from the car, and we just need to make sure we've got everything before we go back, because we don't want to come back up. We need to make sure we've got all the footage you need, anything we've covered. Can you think of anything else we need to shoot, before we go down?
Well, we mentioned heather burning. We could talk about that and get some shots of it.
Yeah.
The reason for heather burning is to get all the different ages of heather in the one area. You've got the old heather here. As you can see, the green shoots are right up the top. So if they're right up the top, the young grouse can't feed off it. Hence the reason we burn. This here was burnt maybe 3-4 years ago. You can see the longer stalk. The sheep and hares can't eat that. You can see the young heather shoots coming away. It's growing fine.
Content they've ticked off another item on their shooting schedule, the boys head off the moor, unaware of another potential interviewee waiting for them at the foot of the hill. Meeting Louisa, the beekeeper, wasn't on the schedule, but she provides additional information about the moorland, which complements the gamekeeper's story. Heather not only provides food and habitat for grouse, but also for honeybees.
So what kind of message do you want to convey, guys?
Well, we've been filming the moorlands, and now we found a beekeeper that uses the moorlands in a different way. Bum, ba, ba, beekeeper!
So, I don't know what you're doing.
Ask a question.
Do you want me to do it, Joe?
Yeah, would that be okay for continuity? Even if it's just saying.
Yeah.
Joe, you've been subbed.
Yes. Come out, go play in the water.
Sebastian decides that Joe's role as presenter leaves a lot to be desired and takes over himself.
Explain how the bees use the honey, and is the honey from the heather moors different to most honey?
Quite apart from the dreadful camera work, already the advice given not to allow the interviewee to look directly at the camera has been ignored.
These are essential to heather.
And I think you'll agree, visually, it makes the interviewee look very awkward.
Wild forage available because the wildflower.
Another major problem with this interview is the sound quality. The wind noise over the onboard mic on the boy's camera makes it impossible to listen to what Louisa is saying.
A treasure, really.
To give you an idea of what the sound should be like, I'll now switch between the two cameras. One has a proper mic and wind gag, and the other is the boy's camera with just the onboard camera mic with no wind gag.
No pesticides. The heather honey is really special. As you know, there is not much wild forage available because the wildflowers have been replaced by arable farming and ways, don't they? They have lost the ecosystem.
Quite a difference, don't you think? Definitely something to pay attention to if you're filming in windy conditions. Now, on to our next location, Drumlanrig Castle. The boys want to use this venue to help expand on information gained from earlier interviews. So, what are they going to look at?
So we've been for a scout of the area and we've decided that we're going to speak to some of the shopkeepers, get some footage of the produce and what's inside, then maybe find a tourist advisor of some sort and see if they can inform us of what activities they have on offer to the public.
Sadly, this is not to be.
Right guys, well, unfortunately, bad news. We can't film. They said no, nobody rang to ask permission. The manager will not allow us to speak to any of the staff here because they haven't been forewarned. It's a great shame because it would have really added something to your film, but did nobody ring?
No, it would appear not. Well, we thought Seb was going to, and we don't know if he has or hasn't, but because he's not here today.
That's why, you know, the schedule's really important, so everybody knows where they are.
Mm-hmm.
So now, unfortunately, that's it. We can do no more here.
No, surely we could go, there's loads of gardens and stuff like that, we could just film, we'd get some shots, like even if there's no talking in them at least.
This is really good. Having been presented with a near disaster, Ewan is now thinking on his feet.
Or mountain biking, we could dub in some commentary just about, you know.
But would it not have been better with somebody able to talk you through it?
Yeah. It would have been better, but I'd say that it's better than nothing, getting some.
Make do with what you have.
Yeah.
Didn't jump that far.
Not exactly what I had in mind, and certainly nothing to do with the life of the gamekeeper.
Adrian!
And I think the tripod could have been better used rather than wrapping it around Joe's neck. But hey-ho.
Go.
Thing.
However, our young crew redeemed themselves when they stumbled upon a partridge shoot at the castle.
Matt, you asked details about the guns and stuff.
How often do you go out in the year for shooting
It
partridges?
just depends how many guns or how many days they shoot. Sometimes it's 3 or 4 times a week.
And how many partridges do you shoot when you go out?
That's a trade secret. Just depends how many they can shoot. Some days it's maybe 150, 200, maybe up to 300.
That's a lot of birds. Is there anything else you want?
Matt, why you'd be using the dogs, that kind of thing, Joe?
So can you tell us why you're using dogs today?
Well, we pick up behind the guns. Now what that means is that as those birds are shot and they land in the heather or wherever have you, those birds have got to be found. So that's what the dogs are for. And they might be Labradors, Springers, as you see there, you know, and they're the main dogs that we use. Yeah.
Is that okay? Right.
I think we worked well, especially since we didn't know that was going to happen, and just being spontaneous and
On our feet.
working with what was there. Yeah, working on our feet. Well, we have a lot more information on the shooting than we did before, and how how the land is used for different purposes and different people.
So, in terms of the overall flow of the film now, has it changed somewhat from where you first started?
Yeah, we've kind of gone from A to C to Q to M, and then we'll get to Z later on.
So it would seem the boys have accepted that some unplanned opportunities, whilst out with the camera, can return some quite brilliant and unexpected results. After this success, they now return to the planned schedule to investigate the benefits shooting brings to the wider community, in this case, a local hotel.
During the season we've got about 7 shooting parties. We are organizing them here in the Baklu Hotel.
Sadly, this interview is largely unusable because unlike our camera, their little handycam can't cope with just available light. To be fair, it's not the boys' fault. Just lack of experience meant they didn't realise that the room should have been lit with extra lights.
We've got a big choice between a la carte.
So that's it. It's the boys' last shooting day, and the burning question now is, have they got enough material to make a film?
Yes.
We have filmed enough footage to make a film.
What he said.
You're absolutely certain?
Yes.
Well, I'm not entirely convinced, but we'll wait and see, and we'll find out whether they're right when we start the edit.